In today's video, I am going to share with you our homeschool story. If you're interested in knowing why we homeschool our children, if you think that I've always had this longing desire in my heart to homeschool my kids, think again. Welcome back to Simply Living It. If this is your first time to my channel, my name is Jamie. I want to welcome you here into this space. I am a stay-at-home homeschooling mom of 3 boys, a 7th grader, a 5th grader, and a 2nd grader. Today, I want to share with you our homeschool story. If you think that I've always had this longing desire in my heart to homeschool our boys, like since I was a little girl, it was my dream, you better stay tuned because mamas, I've got another thing coming for you. So today's video was brought on because I recently did an assumptions video. I'll link it down below in case you have not checked it out yet. It was so much fun to do. It's probably one of my favorite videos that I filmed to date here on YouTube because I got to just chat. I love to chat. So in that video, I answered an assumption, which was that I had always wanted to homeschool my kids, that it's always something I knew I wanted to do, which is not true, which caused so many of you to ask what our homeschool story is. So that's today's video. I'm just going to share with you our homeschool story, our journey, why I decided to homeschool my boys, what it looked like in the beginning, how long we've been doing it in case you are new here, just a little bit more of our story, of our journey, because I think it's so important to share the details sometimes. So if you want to know our homeschool story, stick around. Just to clear it up, just to clarify, I never dreamed of being a homeschool mom. It was the furthest thing from my mind ever. I never even dreamed or thought I would be a stay-at-home mom. It was never something I even entertained with. I met my husband when I was 17 years old, the year that I was leaving for college. We got married when I was 20 years old. We had our first baby boy, when I was 21. My first pregnancy led me to have to quit my job and be on bed rest for the last 6 weeks of my pregnancy. In that 6 weeks, there was so much transformation that was happening in my life and in my heart and in my mind. I ended up quitting my job. He was born 2 weeks early. I was induced, happy, healthy. He was all the things, right? Fast forward to kindergarten. It was time to put him in school. I had always thought we're just going to put him in public school. Like, my husband and I never entertained the idea of homeschool. I was public schooled. My husband was public schooled. I didn't have any friends who were homeschooled growing up. Like, it was such a foreign thing. Seriously foreign. To this day, I am still the only person in my family that homeschools her children, including my husband's family. I have a circle of friends who are homeschool moms who I have met through this journey, but really, truly, we kind of were navigating this on our own. And so there are so many of you moms who reach out and you're like, how do you handle the pressure and the stress from family and from friends and society and the battle that you have going on in yourself as a whole, just the idea of homeschooling your kids, the idea of something being so different and so foreign, and then tackling it head on. It is a journey. It is a journey all in of itself, and I could talk about that for hours. So back to why we're here. I enrolled my son in kindergarten in the school district where we currently live. It was the first year that they opted for all-day kindergarten, which is awesome. If you have to send your kid to daycare, you could just send them in public school, have that option, and it's free, or you could send them, alternate between daycare and public school. I was home anyway. I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't need him to have free daycare, so to speak. So I opted, because they give you the choice, I opted to have him in half-day kindergarten. That was a big no-no. Like, of course, the principal was not cool with that from the get-go. Like, why would you do that? You're going to miss out on all the field trips, and like, I'm home. I can take him. We enrolled him in kindergarten. Everything was going fine. He was a great student. He loved it. We had 0 issues whatsoever as far as my son adapting to kindergarten. It was kindergarten. Kindergarten is always fun, right? There were 0 issues there. It was me. It was within me. It was within the school. that's where it never felt right. And at the time, I wouldn't have told you that it was God. I truly wouldn't have, because I didn't know at the time. I didn't really have a relationship with God at the time to even think this is something God is doing. Like, furthest thing from my mind, right? It never felt right. It just made me sick to my stomach. And I didn't go to school in this school system where we currently live. This is not where I went to school. And so that was kind of a big deal to me too. It was foreign instead of being something that I knew and something that I was comfortable with. There were a lot of things that I was battling with the thought, and not just the crazy mama bear. Like, it's not the crazy, I want to control everything mama bear thing. So don't think that's where I'm going with this. And also, I'm not bashing public school systems. So I want you to know that too. It's not a bash anything. It's just something within me, within our home, within my husband and I's relationship. That's what this is between. And it just never felt right. I was never settled. I was never okay with it. So we toyed around with the idea. I have a friend, a very close friend, who was homeschooled and was homeschooling her kids, who happened to all be the same age as my kids as well. So I reached out to her. She's like, why don't you just pray about it? You know, to me, I'm like, okay, pray about it. Like I said, I didn't really have a strong relationship with God at that point. And so I didn't really know what that even honestly looked like. But then as time went on, every day my son would come home. He was exhausted. He was absolutely exhausted. And it was half day kindergarten. He would come home from kindergarten. He would still have homework that needed to be done and assignments that needed to be done and needed to be turned in. And so for me, I'm like, this is kindergarten. This is too much for me for kindergarten. I'm not settled with this. I'm not settled with the location of where he's at. There were many things that I was not cool with in regards to the school and his accountability, as far as someone accounting for my son when he shows up. There was no accountability whatsoever for my son for a good 45 minutes after I dropped him off. For me, that's not okay. There's a good 45-minute time frame that my son is not being accounted for by anybody. I'm not cool with that. Somebody needs to be there to know, here he is. Check him off the list. We have him here. We see him. He is a physical person here in this school. I need that. That wasn't done. Nobody was accounting for him. He wasn't reporting to a class. It was report to the lunchroom and then go to recess. I could feed him at home. Why does he have to report to the lunchroom? Can I just bring him when class starts? So there was a bunch of things that just kept stacking and stacking and stacking. And I can look back right now and I can say, God, that was you. Like, that was you. I know we are right where we are supposed to be right now. Without a doubt, I can look back and say that was God. Like, every bit of, every hiccup along the way, every feeling of that just doesn't, it's just not working. It was like, something isn't right. And I don't know what, even still to this day. It's not a problem with the school district. Like I said, no single person. There was just a lot of flack to begin with because I want to keep him home. Like, everything we were doing was a problem. Why is this a problem? He's my child. Can't I decide? Can't I say, if I drop my kid off, I want to make sure that someone's saying, oh, he's here. We see him. We've received him. Come on in. Is that crazy that I want my kid to be accounted for? And that's just touching the surface of a lot of different things. And so, like I said, I can look back now and say that was God. Like, all of it was God. My husband and I had a huge decision to make. We pulled him out of public school after, I think it was like 7.5, 8 weeks, honestly, that he went to public school. And our goal, our idea was, we're going to just homeschool kindergarten. Like, I can do kindergarten, okay? How bad could it be? It's kindergarten. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I've got a friend who can help me with curriculum. I'll figure it out. Like, I can do this. It's kindergarten. Then we'll put him in a different school district, which is quite a distance from us, actually. But I was going to make that commitment because I didn't want him. It didn't feel right where we were. So kindergarten goes by, right? Kindergarten's happening. Things are going good. My goal, my intent was, we're going to put him back in, first grade. He'll be in the public school system. First grade, it's time to register. We're too late because the school district next to us is open enrollment, but you have to enroll the January before the school year. That didn't happen. I was late. We missed that. Okay, great. I can choose to drive him, to a whole nother town so much further from where we are, but I'm not going to make that commitment and then pull him out and put him somewhere else. So there was so much of this, pull him from here, put him here, pull him from here, put him here. Maybe we're going to keep him home. Maybe we're going to put him back in. Like so many tears and so much uncertainty and unknown and frustration of what do I do with my child? This doesn't feel right. Do we need to move? Do we need to move somewhere where I feel comfortable and confident as a mom? Like I can't do this. And my husband, oh, this man, he is so incredibly supportive of any crazy, wild hair decision that this woman has. Can I just like, I don't know. I can't even explain that, but he was fully on board for any and all of it. We homeschooled kindergarten. We homeschooled first grade. And now here we are. He's going to be in 8th grade. And we're still doing it. This was supposed to be temporary, right? Just like with a lot of you homeschool moms right now who are maybe homeschooling not by choice, but because you have no other choice. Like it's so crazy to me. All of it. I can look back now and say, that was God. All of it. Like, that's his handiwork. I know we are right where we are supposed to be. And it has taken so many years. It has taken every bit of these it has taken every bit of the 8.5 years homeschooling for me to be able to sit here and say, this is where we are supposed to be. Without a doubt in my mind. This is where my kids are supposed to be. Is here with me. I have so much confirmation that I have been doubting for so many years. Am I doing the right thing? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Are my kids supposed to be with me? They're missing out on this. They're missing out on that. No, they're not. They are not missing out on anything. Nothing. They are right where they are supposed to be. Right here with me. This is where God has them. Where God has our family right now. And I can say with full confidence, and that has taken so much work and so many prayers, because letting that go, just releasing that, is like a huge weight taken off your chest. Finally being able to trust where God has you in this season. And I know there are so many of you moms, because you've reached out to me, that are struggling. I want to homeschool, but I'm struggling. What about this? What about that? There are moms who don't want to homeschool, but this is where their family is right now. There's no other option. It's such a mess and such a time of confusion. And so many of you sweet moms are doubting and wondering and questioning, and how am I going to do this? Am I doing enough? All of it. I know exactly what that feels like, because I too have been there. And if I'm being honest, there are times that I still go there. I'm looking at homeschool curriculum for the coming year and I'm like, ooh, my father's world. That looks interesting. Ooh, that looks interesting. You guys know me. I always change things up. I'm always moving and thinking, but that to me is where the beauty is. Like, I can be free to do whatever I want to do. And part of that comes with the confidence in knowing that God has us right where we are for a reason. And I'm trusting him, and I know without a doubt in my mind, this has all been God. Every bit of it. In our family, in our journey, in our story. Like, I have turned it all over to him. This confidence that I have right now in homeschooling is only from him. Like, this is not me. I am not a confident person at all. But I can say right now, I know this is God. I know this homeschool journey we have been on has him written all over it. And I know that. And even before I could see it. How many of you have a story like that? Like, before you even could see it. That's most of my testimony, I guess. And maybe that's the point. But for me, like, his hands are on all of it before I even see or realize. And then 8.5 years down the road, right? Remember, we've been doing this 8.5 years. So do not compare your first month, your first year, your first day of homeschooling to those who have been doing it longer. The struggles are the same, going to be different and unique to your story, but we all have struggled with the same thing. I have struggled with the doubt of doing enough, of being enough, of how am I, like I said in my last video, the 5 habits that changed our homeschool. How am I used to be crippled with, how am I going to teach them everything they need to know? I used to be crippled with, I'm not good enough. I'm not qualified. I was crippled with every single lie that you could possibly throw my way. I was crippled with it when it came to homeschooling and many other areas, but we're talking about homeschooling right now. So doubt, fear, the feeling of I can't do this, the feeling of being different. We're so different. When we go to the grocery store and the checker's like, oh, why aren't you guys in school? I was ashamed to say we homeschool our kids because of the flack that you get for that. When you tell someone you homeschool, I didn't have the confidence to stand up and say, I am a proud homeschool mom. I am so blessed to get to homeschool my kids. And I hope and pray that I do not take a single day, moment, or hour of that for granted, which I do. I know I'm guilty. There are days that, just like with anything, I'm like, I cannot do this. There are days that I doubt, but I am working so hard to sit right here in this place where I can say, I know God has this. And I trust him with it. I trust him with my boys. I trust his plan for my boys. That's the most important thing to me. We all have a story. It's going to be different. But that is our homeschool story. So many of you have asked for that. And I want to give just a little background because there are so many of you who are new here, which is amazing. And I'm so thankful for that. And I want you to know too, as I close out today's video, my hope and prayer for this space is that you feel encouragement, that you leave this space feeling light and love and the peace of God. I want you to feel that when you leave this space. You are not alone in this. You can homeschool your kids. You are capable. You are equipped. God will equip you for this journey if it is what your heart desires. Or, like me, it was not what my heart desired when my son was going into kindergarten. Like, why? I'm not going to homeschool my kids. I can't do this. I was going to work a full-time job. Like, I have dreams and goals and all these things. And now it's like, we have made so many sacrifices to be a one-income family. But the sacrifices are so worth every single moment of it. So as I close out this video, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for spending your time here in this space. I thank you as always for your encouragement, your support. Share with me in the comment section down below some of your current struggles or maybe your story. What's part of your story? What has led you to homeschool your kids right now? Which for a lot of us, I think it's going to be pretty similar, but there's a change happening and it's beautiful. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's been beautiful. And it will be beautiful. I can feel that. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in our next video. Do not forget, give this video a thumbs up. Click that red subscribe button that's down below if you have not already. I would love for you to be part of our tribe here at Simply Living It. Homeschool moms, motherhood, life, you name it. That's what I like to share here. Moms supporting moms. I'll see you in our next video. Bye.